Hi universe, you see me again in 100 days, like with Sonya. Welcome, welcome. I don't know what did I dream last night. Actually, I didn't sleep a lot, also I didn't know what I dreamed. But we have a master class again today with Jim Fuhs. Can you imagine he is here? He's the one that I admire in live streaming and podcast world or universe, and he is here now to give us the master class about Twitter, how to use Twitter, of course, to drive leads, and then of course to promote our events in recorded videos, also on or live streaming, whatever. That's why I'm very excited to have Jim Fuhs today. And I don't know how to introduce you because he is everything. He's everywhere. I watch his show also with Tim Son. They are partners in live streaming also, and this is really great to have him here. I don't know. Maybe I have to be quiet only to listen to him because he will share a lot of things that I've never learned before. Maybe about Twitter, not so many. I don't use that much for Twitter. That's why. And sorry, a bit sweating here, even though the air conditioner is on.
Yeah.
Please
No,
understand,
no.
I'm in the tropical country, right? So,
Yes.
uh,
I'm a little jealous because
Jim,
I like the hot weather myself. So
can we exchange? Can we shift now, please?
yeah.
It is 8 a.m. in the morning, but yes, you are steaming like a boiling crab, So, and I'm in red. You're like a
Right.
crab.
Well, I guess it always helps to have air conditioning, but if your air conditioning's not cooperating, then that's a whole nother story.
It's already 18 degrees. I said I'm in 18 degrees. But yeah, this apartment face DA, so that's why it is very, very hot here. But I'm always hot. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here into 100 Days Live with Sonya. I don't know what makes you jump into 100 Days Live with Sonya and able to give us masterclass, especially in Twitter, how to get leads from Twitter, also how to promote our speakers for our event.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I didn't know how you want to, if you want to like even put us like where we're side by side with the smaller squares. What I was going to do is a little bit of
Any,
screen
any,
share.
any, any, but I don't know if I can. But you can share your screen if you have.
Yeah, no, just if you make us like, how we're smaller squares,
Mm,
can you do that?
yeah, yeah.
Like when you had the two,
Let me try
let me see.
with single
It's more like the
moment.
landscape.
This is like landscape. Oh, I don't have that background. The single background has gone. Only two
Oh,
background.
okay. Okay.
So try to
Cool.
do the screen, then I will disappear for a while.
Okay. That sounds
Let's
good.
try. Mm,
Because
try to
I'm gonna
share
use
on the
Ecamm.
guest. Yeah, Kristen, thank you for being here. Hey, you haven't registered for 100 days like with Sonya and for the next event.
Yeah, I told him he needs to register. He's gonna definitely register. You should have him speak too.
Uh,
He knows a lot about podcasting.
I know, but I don't know. I haven't reached him personally. Maybe he's too proud to be with me.
I don't think so.
No, 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 just kidding. Come on, Jim, can you share into guest? Then I will put the guest on the live stream for the. Oh,
Oh, because I was actually just gonna
yes,
make it in
yes.
my camera. Let me see if I can maybe do this.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. Can you
Because
see that?
usually we share.
There we go.
Yes,
So I'll
but
share my camera here. And so let
how
me
do
just
I get out then? Let me background. There is only live background. Pixel. Yep, there is no one background for this. I thought that is that okay? How do I go out? This is about technology for one single.
are you using Restream or StreamYard?
For 100 days, I use StreamYard, of course, and then Jesse Guthrie, what is it?
Yes.
Design the frame,
Yeah. So if you actually
but
just
I cannot see you now.
if you put me in solo
Usually,
view, can you see? Yeah. So if you want to just
I
click on
can,
my
I can.
photo, like
Mm-mm.
at the bottom there, you can click on me and it'll
I
put me in
know.
solo view and you'll
Solo
still be there.
layout. I know. I know.
There we go. There we go. That should work. Let's see how this.
Yay! Finally, I
And we can
found
still,
it.
and I can still hear you too, so we're good.
Yes.
So yeah,
Please,
so
please start. I will be a good listener now. I learned to.
all right. So yeah, so what I wanted to talk about today was, or I guess today for you, this evening for me, is how a lot of us don't take advantage of using Twitter to promote our live
Mhm.
streams. A lot of people
Mhm.
don't realize there's over 350 million active users on Twitter, and Twitter has come out with some really interesting new features. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of them. So as you can see up here at the top of my iPhone screen here, that little purple area is called Twitter
Mhm.
Spaces. Twitter Spaces is audio. It's just like Clubhouse, but on Twitter. And so
Mhm.
now, after a show, you can be having conversations with your audience. The other thing they have that they've created is similar to stories, and this is called fleets. So as you can see, if I wanted to add a picture or a text, I could, put on there, 100 days live with Sonya, and then I hit done, and then I hit fleet, and now it's posted. And so you'll see now that I'll have this little color there. And so when I click on this, you see that's now out there for 24 hours, just like an Instagram story. So as an example, another way to use fleets, if I was promoting, like today, the Tim and Jim show, we had a pin tweet. That's another great tool. I can actually take this and I can share it in a fleet. And so now what you'll see is that tweet is actually in here. I can resize it. I can move it around. I can tag people. Um, let's see. That's not what I want to do there. There we go. And so here I could put like at MFC Novo, and I can then move that down there, and then I hit a fleet. So now I've created 2 stories. So fleets is a new feature. So if you're a live streamer and you're promoting your show, like you can see we do here, every week when we have a show, we put a graphic, we put a link to, as an example, in this case, we want to drive people to our YouTube channel since we prescribed pre-scheduled the show, just like you could be having every day a tweet out there for who your next guest is going to be on 100 Days with Sonya. And right up here is where we're able to pin the tweet where these 3 dots are next to where it says, I've had this out here for a couple of days. So that's the first thing people will see when they come to my Twitter feed is they will see that pinned tweet. So that's a great way for us to promote stuff. And another way, because fleets now become, for all those people, when I go back to my home, they're going to see a ring around my show. Now, what's really interesting about that is now you have this opportunity to have stuff stay out there for 24 hours, where most of the time a tweet is going to disappear very quickly. And by that meaning, there's so many tweets going on. It's about an 18-minute life before that tweet has gone away. So now, an advantage of that is that by doing that, you're able to actually put the same tweet out several times over the course of a day or over the week. Nobody, it's not like Facebook where you can't keep posting the same thing because people will be like, what's wrong with you? So that's one of the advantages of Twitter as well in regards to that. Now, another thing you can do with Twitter that I think that sometimes we don't consider, and I'm going to switch here to another look here. Going to
Mhm.
go to a screen share so you guys can see this little bit bigger. We can create what's called Twitter list. Now, what does a Twitter list do? A Twitter list allows us to collect, things we like to follow. So, as an example, you had mentioned the Tim and Jim show. And so I created a list for the Tim and Jim show. Of course, you can see I have a lot of lists. And
Yeah.
it's a couple things it does. So I go on here, and what we do is after every episode, we add our most recent guest. So these 105 members of the list are people that have been guests on the Tim and Jim show. So I'm going to go in there and I'm going to manage this. I'm going to add our guest from today, which was Marco Novo, and he's out of Portugal. So I'm
Oh yeah,
adding him
today.
here. Yep. And so now he's been added to the list. And so you're going to see that now that I'm done, let's see here, I now have 106 members. He's going to get a notification because this is a public list that he has been added to this list, Tim and Jim show guest. Say that 5 times fast.
Mm-hmm.
But the beauty of a list is I see the tweets from these 106 people. So now I don't have to worry about the thousands of followers I have. These are the people that have been on my show, and I'm able to tweet from within here. So as an example, Dr. I, right? She's getting ready to have a guest. I'm liking it. I'm able to, in this case, retweet this. I'm going to quote a tweet, which means I'm actually going to make a comment and say, looks like a great show. Looking forward to it. Looking forward, say, to watching. And then I hit boom, tweet. So I'm able to stay engaged with my previous guest. That keeps, not only helps keep promoting them, but also helps keep you top of mind. Lists are, I think, one of the most powerful things in Twitter. And because this is all chronological, it's very easy for me to go through. And even like as an example, Christina Garnett retweeted this tweet, right? This isn't her original tweet. I'm seeing all of their activity. So that's where I think that this is really a powerful part of Twitter. And you can also have private lists. So if you want to follow things, or maybe you want to follow like live streaming technology, or you want to add people that you want to get to know better, you don't actually have to follow them. You can add, as an example, I think if I were to go in here, let's go search. I know you're on Twitter, so we'll give an example here.
Our coaching universe.
It's like, what is our coaching universe. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so there, yes, you can see I follow you, you follow me. So now what I can do is to add someone to a list. If I'm off on their profile, I'm just going to hit this more button, and then it says I can add or remove you from a list. So then I can see where you can see I have these locks. Those are private lists. Anyone I add cannot see that I've put them on the list, and nobody can see those lists. So then I can go here and I'd say, okay, I'm going to put you on the list, live streaming pros. And you see the little check mark save. You'll get a notification that you've been added to my list. And of course, sometimes the way the list is named is going to make people, excited in some cases. And if they're not following you, now maybe they'll start following you because you've created a list of that nature. Another idea for a list is create a list of guests I'd like to have on my live show. And you add them to that list. They're going to get notified that they've been added to this list. Shows them maybe a way that they would to like to do something in regards to that. So that's another really powerful tool is list. And so next thing I wanted to go into, I'm going to do something over here first. So I also have an account with I do a show called Dealcasters Live with my friend Chris Stone on Amazon. When you get into repurposing your live streams, there's a couple things you can do. You can kind of do the old, I don't know if I call it, maybe it's old fashioned in some ways. You take that large video file and you go into a editing program and you kind of cut it up looking for those clips that really meant something. And then you put it into your, you can take that if it's a video of under 2 minutes, maybe even 2 minutes 30 seconds, you can upload that video clip to Twitter, and then you could put a link, like if it was a YouTube link or Facebook, wherever that original full video is. It's kind of like, here's a clip from our show. If you want to catch the rest, go here. Because what we forget about a lot of times when we do a
Mm-hmm.
live stream is after the fact. After the fact, we forget that we need to keep promoting that show that we just did. I mean, you're going to have, Sonia, a ton of
A
content
ton,
that you can repurpose.
100. And
Yes,
then I need to put it on the podcast also, and then the blogs. Oh my
yes,
God. So
yes.
it's like a lot of work, but no, I don't think so.
Right. So what you can do, and this is, I don't know if you've met these folks yet, but Lately is a tool
Mm-mm.
that Chris and I like to use. So as an example, you can see what we've
Just
done
what's that?
is this is a tweet where Chris, using Lately, took a clip out of this 1 hour interview that we then later turned into a podcast using Lately's AI. This literally took Lately probably, minutes to come up with all these clips. And then we are tagging Kate from Lately and her company. And as you can see, we've had 52 views of this uh, tweet that we put out about the podcast. And then here's another example where we took a clip from a YouTube video where we were interviewed by StreamYard, and we take that AI takes that clip, because what you want to do is you want to capture people's attention. And so that's where these short clips, like those highlights, those big moments from your video, your live stream, or even a recorded video, this is how you're going to get people interested, right? As I think May King, right? It's that FOMO. Create that fear of missing out by getting these clips
Mm.
that take people back to the original video. So that's where Lately is a great tool for that. I can't say enough about Lately and the job that they do. It's not cheap, but it is well worth the investment. Something that I think people should definitely consider. So that's where repurposing really becomes a big thing. Um, Another thing people don't to think about is Twitter chats. And so I'm on a Twitter chat every week. I'm a member of the Twitter Smarter team with Madeline Scalar. As a
Mm-hmm.
live streamer that, say, maybe has a consistent show, these chats are when like-minded people gather together. So in Madeline's case, we're talking about Twitter, and that's where she's taken things a step further. So we have the chat. It's Thursdays at 1 o'clock. She usually has a guest, and everybody, by following the hashtag Twitter Smarter during that hour, is
Mm-hmm.
able to keep up with the conversation. There's questions, there's answers. But then she's taking it to the next level by using Twitter Spaces. And I'm going to show you a Twitter Space in action. And so this is going back to my. You see this purple here. This is an active Twitter Space. So we're gonna like peek in on it and see what they're talking about. So this is just an open platform. They're talking. You can see the people that are in there. So there's a purple
Mm-hmm.
button down here. I could join this space, and we would actually start to hear what they're talking about. But we're not going to do that right now. But this is just like Clubhouse. But this is
Mm-hmm.
open to
Yeah, it's a new one, right?
Android and iPhone people both. It's not just an iPhone only. You don't have to get invited as long as you're following some of these people, or you'll see people will tweet out about these spaces. You can have a conversation here. So here's a great way after a live show to say, "Hey, we're going to go have an after chat," and now anybody up to 10 people can be speakers. So now your viewers can have a conversation with you. So I think that this is very powerful as a way to kind of have conversations, and it's not limited to, you got to get, with Clubhouse, you have to get an invite. You've got to have an iPhone. This is much more open. Some of the other things I like about it is that it does have things like, how do we put it? emojis, even if you're in the audience, like you can give, a 100 sign, you can do other things like that. So Twitter Spaces is very exciting, thing that's coming up. And then the other thing is just engaging with people on Twitter from your account. And that's how, I use
Yep.
it with notifications and especially with lists. So I think those are some ways that I think as a live streamer, you can really get yourself moving, and a lot of it is about being consistent. I probably spend about at least 45 minutes to an hour a day on Twitter, but I don't do it all at once. I split the time up. Like I'll spend 15, 20 minutes in the morning. I'll spend 15, 20 minutes midday. I'll spend another group of time in the evening. These are the things that we really have to, you know, think about because we don't want to spend all our time there, right? We've got other things to do. Like we talked before the show,
Yes,
you had
yes.
meetings and things of that nature. But it's such a powerful, easy to use platform. You can even record video, as an example, from your phone and do like a quick, short video, upload that clip, and you can actually it's been a little bit of a change because Periscope has gone away as we know it, but you can also live stream on Twitter. So,
True.
you can, you might wanna have your show on whatever channel, Facebook, whatever, but also have it out on Twitter, and it'll stay out there. In fact, before I was on here tonight, Chris and I did a show over on Amazon, and we also played it
Mm-hmm.
on Twitter, so it's still out there if people wanted to watch it on Twitter for the show we did on Amazon. So, just a lot of things that live streamers really could be doing to grow their audience by using Twitter. And so yes, I wanted to leave some time if you had questions. I don't know if there's any viewers that might have questions about Twitter and maybe some recommendations, but I really think there's a lot of different things. If I was going to do anything, I'd say start using lists. That is probably the number one way for you to get organized because as your Twitter following grows, it's hard to keep up with those people that are really important to
Yeah,
you.
with everyone in person. And I have already checked many times that Amazon Live doesn't work here still. So you see, always we one step behind for technology. What I mean, but one thing that I would like to ask you is about hashtag on Twitter,
Yeah.
and people make their expertise also only about hashtag, how to make the hashtag trending. Actually, how does it work?
So that
Yeah.
the hashtag I would never use more than 2 or 3 on a tweet.
Mm-mm.
Um, and
Mm.
so what I would do is like you can see even sometimes like if you're in fact let me do this. I'm going to pull up my uh yeah, let's go back to the solo view. I'll show you
Yes.
on this screen. I'll show you that how this works.
Women, like,
No problem.
yep.
And so if you as you see over here you have what they call trending topics. Now, if I go into search, and this is what helps sometimes. So, like if I go hashtag live stream, right? You can see these are the different hashtags that are being used. If I click on this, it's going to show me what the top, our friend Ross live stream deals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Here's the latest tweets using the hashtag. So if you put that in as an example with your show, like with Coaching Universe, you could say, tonight we're going to be talking about X. You could put hashtag
Mm-hmm.
live stream, maybe hashtag as an example, marketing. Anybody that's searching for that topic is going to then see your tweet. So it's really more about making sure that the hashtag is related. So sometimes where people, if you want to say jump on these trends, is like maybe, if there's something going on in the world, people will use that hashtag because they want to get into that feed where people are looking for, like as an example, you could have done a hashtag 100 days with Sonya, right? And
Mm-hmm.
put that out there every day, and then had people start to post when they're out there. So that's really where, and hashtags are big with events. So like when you have your big event coming up, I think, is it June or July? It's
Yeah,
my
in June. Oh,
yeah,
please, June, not too late. Will be
yeah,
too
yeah.
long to wait again.
So when you have your summit in June, by
Mm-hmm.
having a hashtag associated with that, that will allow all the attendees, if they're
Mm-hmm.
tweeting, if you have a summit hashtag, that's how people will be able to keep track of all the activity surrounding the event. So that's where hashtags on Twitter are very useful. You'll see a lot of events, social media marketing world hashtag SMMW. Last year was 20. They didn't have it
Mm-hmm.
this year, unfortunately. That's how events use hashtags for people to know, like, this is the official event hashtag. This is what we use when we're putting stuff out. And that's how people keep up with what's going on. That's what we call kind of becomes the whole live tweeting sort of thing. So that's where hashtags come in handy for Twitter, especially if you've got events or show. Like Tim and I use the hashtag the Tim and Jim Show when we do our tweets, and a couple others. But I wouldn't recommend more than three as
Mm-hmm.
far as the number of hashtags, because you got to remember you've only got 280 characters that you can use before you quote unquote run out of space.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But does hashtag work only for Twitter? Because I see a lot of people also use on their Facebook page, even the personal page also. And then can you imagine on the private group? I don't know if it can be seen outside and also on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, no,
Oh, of course on Instagram also.
yeah, no, hashtags have definitely grown to be used. I mean, I would almost say originally it was Instagram and Twitter that were the two places that they were used the most.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, now LinkedIn, it's definitely a thing. Facebook is actually now, they're used. I still think though that people don't always think about hashtags on Facebook. I know I personally don't usually search for things by hashtag. I think of it more on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. But definitely, it's good because it's how, in a way, it makes it easy for people to search for things in the regards of how that kind of stuff works. So I would definitely recommend. Using them. But even whatever that hashtag is, right, you're going to want to make it consistent across the platforms. But it doesn't mean, like, obviously, if you use it, if it's on Twitter, it's not going to show up on Facebook. But at least if people are looking, they know, okay, this is the hashtag for this show, this event, whatever it might be. So that can be a nice branding strategy as well. Is you can create your own hashtag, and if people know to use it, they'll know where to find the information.
Oh, thank you so much. This is a lot, and I would like to say hey to Timson. Actually, I cannot put it your comments in the screen. I don't know why. Shout out to Marco Novo who was on the Tim and Jim show today. I know I must be fall asleep again, and then okay, and then also Kristen. Thank you, Anita, for this. People call me Sonya, Chris, and then Jim Fuhs is my Twitter mentor. Now I make sure that he is my mentor too, so don't be jealous, okay? And Jim, how long does it take to have our trending for our hashtag when we put it there, or we need to work it like because
Yeah,
commitment and of
it's
course consistency is
and
needed, right?
exactly. It's going to take consistency. I think where you're going to really see, like, like, as an example with Madeline's Twitter chat, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people participate in it, you'll see at times where, like, Twitter Smarter is trending
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday afternoons, or when there's a big event, that event, because there's so many people involved, right? It's like the more people that get involved, that's when those hashtags will trend during that time. But if you're just, like, there may be times as an example, like I didn't look, but today, Coinbase might be trending because
Mm-hmm.
everybody was, talking about
Playing
that
coin,
space,
yeah.
yeah, coming out. So that's another thing, and that's where sometimes people will newsjack, as they call it. They'll see a trending hashtag, and if they can relate to it or something like that, that's another way where you can get your content maybe in front of some people that maybe wouldn't have normally seen it. But then you might also get beat up by the trolls if you're using it, it has nothing to do with with the topic.
Mm. And you are the president of Fusion Marketing. How come that you become the Twitter expert also and use it for your expertise?
I learned from Madeline. I listened
Mm-hmm.
to her podcast, Twitter Smarter, probably actually it was in 2017, and I just got saw how Twitter works, and I just kept working it, and so it's definitely become a big part of my social strategy. I can't tell you how many people I've met through Twitter first that have led to friendships. It's led to collaborations, and it's really to me one of the most open platforms. And like if I can find you on Twitter, I can quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote connect with you. I don't have to send a friend request. I don't have to, know your email address. I mean, there are people that make their Twitter private. I don't necessarily know why you would do that, if you want people to
Mm-hmm.
connect with you. But that's, I think, where it's very powerful. And then you have lots of companies use it for customer service. And so that's where I think Twitter Spaces can be exciting because you could have a Twitter space and you could invite StreamYard or Restream or whoever to the
Mm-hmm.
conversation if you were having a Twitter space about live streaming where it's not so easy on these other platforms because it goes back to, do you have to be their friend or do you have to be their LinkedIn connection? So that's where I think that's the other advantage of Twitter, as well as
It's more open also,
yes.
yes.
Yeah, and then you can also share links, and other platforms sharing a link, if you're taking people off the platform, it's like the algorithm will punish you. That's not the case with Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people often feel afraid about algorithm. Actually, I don't feel it that much. As long as the people who I need or who need me are there, then I will be okay. Why does algorithm scare people so much?
Well, I think a lot of it is they want everyone to see their stuff, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't have the patience to build up the organic reach, because the only way with some of these platforms to get more eyes on your content is to pay
Mm-hmm.
for ads. And so I think that's where, we kind of want our cake and eat it too, and it just doesn't work that way. So I think it's like you said, it's about being consistent, it's about growing your audience, it's about engagement, right? If you're engaging with other people's content, right, then that will get people engaging with you. And then if they see, it's kind of like if the platform sees, like, okay, this post is getting a lot of traction, then it will show it to more people. So I think that's where sometimes people forget that, right? It's called social media, right? And we're supposed to be social, not just broadcasters.
And then with this pandemic started to get better, and then the people start to meet each other again in the personal or offline events. Do you think that the live streaming and podcast will be, as busy as last year during pandemic?
I do. I think that if anything, uh, the podcast I think will continue to grow.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some ways, and I know my friend Chris Stone, if he's still watching, could correct me if I'm wrong. There's been about 2 million podcasts, right? That's not a whole lot, but active
Mm-hmm.
podcast is only maybe about 600,000. We're talking worldwide. And,
Mm-hmm.
Amazon, as an example, with Amazon Music now has podcasts. Uh, you know, Spotify and all these others have continued to grow. So people
Mm-hmm.
like the audio thing, and if people start traveling more now, maybe they'll listen. There's other ways to listen. And then I think even from a live streaming perspective, I mean, what you've been able to do with this 100 days, Sonia, is, not something you maybe could have done otherwise, right? And so the fact and we're in different parts of the world, right? It's not easy for us to always travel. And I think if anything, there's going to be more of what I call hybrid, right? There'll be some
Yes,
people, but there'll be people that'll want to attend virtually because either they
virtually,
realize
yes.
I don't want to spend the money or I can't take all that time off. I want to see, Sonia speak. So I just want to see her, talk. And I don't care if she's 12 hours away. I just want to be able to do that. I think that's going to
Mm-hmm.
be continue to be a big part. I don't think we'll ever go back to the way we were before.
So I am good because actually online word summit for live streamers is my pathway to the offline or the in-person event next year in Bali if the condition is better. But
Yeah.
then you give me the idea that we can do both. The people can have the holiday in Bali also, and then
Yeah.
of course to meet me in person, right?
Yeah.
But they also can do it in hybrid event on the live streaming from Bali if it is a lot to do that already for the big event in Bali or like the offline or in-person event in Bali next year for
Well, you get
online World Summit for live streamers. Of course, we need to gather, not only face to face like this in the on the screen, right? It will be
right.
great.
Yes, absolutely. And I think and that just goes back to, right, you're able to bring the world together
Mm-hmm.
through live streaming, and that's not always possible with just an in-person event. It
Mm-hmm.
limits the reach, and I think that's where as technology continues to advance, the hybrid becomes a big thing. And so the people that can afford to go to Bali will show up in Bali, but then
Mm-hmm.
there'll be still people in other places that still want to be a part of that. And that'll be the challenge is to
Mm-hmm.
allow them to be just as engaged as the people in person.
True, true. I agree with it. And then, Jim, do you have any message for our viewers today? And of course, the people who are going to watch later.
Yeah, whether you're watching live or on replay, if you've got questions about Twitter, please leave comments. Thank you, Sonia, for having me. Make sure you support Sonia. She's doing a great event here. I mean, 100 days is quite a feat, and
Thank you.
she's got a lot of great speakers that have come before me, that are coming after me. I'm just honored and humbled that she allowed me to be a part of this, and so thank you, Sonia.
Oh, Jim, that is so low profile. Well, I'm very proud that you are here. It's not easy to book you, in your busy schedule, I know. And yes, of course, I thank you to all of our speakers, including you who know my vision and also my dream in live streaming universe, right? And then, of course, our sponsor. And today, like, Dr. Liz is starting from Link Nutrition also becoming our sponsor. And of course, Ross Brand from Livestream Universe as our main sponsor for 100 Days Live with Sonya. Please do not hesitate if I invite you the next time to another event. And I'm very happy that you are selected to Online World Summit. Of course, I have to choose you or select. So thank you so much for everything that you shared today. It opens our eyes that social media is not only about posting, not only about copywriting, right? And then there are so many ways to repurpose our content also. It's not only by changing the name of the group or the name of the program, but we can do other things in repurposing our program. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you.
And I'll see you. Bye bye.